Good morning, beautiful souls. Welcome back, or welcome to the Hawk and I. My name is Lana Zelinsky, and I work in the spirit dimensions. As always, in all my videos or on my live feeds, simply take what resonates, and you're welcome to leave the rest right here. Happy Monday! Here we are on a Monday morning. I am a little bit on the tired side. I had an incredible weekend away at the provincial softball tournament, and I had so much fun. But I am feeling that today. Oh, I'm feeling it, in a glorious way, but I am happy to be here. Spirit woke me up extra early this morning, and I spent quite a bit of time doing some channeling for the energy update and some extra channeling for some things that are coming up for me. So I've got quite a bit to talk about. So I am going to start right away. Then I will jump into all of your questions and spend a bit of time with you here this morning. But we've got some big, bold energy coming in. And I'm just curious for those of you who are already on here listening, feeling a little bit unsettled. Are you feeling a little bit of that unsettled uncertainty? Has that kind of made its way over to you this morning or perhaps over the weekend? A little bit rattled, perhaps some shakeup. Have any of you guys been experiencing that yet? If not, I feel it coming. I feel like this Aquarius full moon is bringing us into some shake up, unsettled energy. There we go. Unsettled and unsettled is Aaron and Kayla. Kayla, shakeups. Yeah, it's going to be a week. And there are moments when I do the channeling. There are moments when I do the channeling and I look down at my notes afterwards. I take a big breath in and I kind of go, oh no. Difficult situations, overthinking are all coming at us this week. And it's coming at us in a very unique way, but also in a way of saying it's time for new perspectives. It's time to broaden our mind. It's time for some new expansions. What you're seeing isn't working, and that's kind of what this full moon is bringing in. Some sleep issues are also coming in. Some of that overthinking. Many of us may be taking that energy to bed with us, so that is also the sleep issues is also coming up, taking a step back to see things differently. Now, so spirit shouted that at me because I was like, "Oh my gosh, all this energy! What am I going to do about it?" And that's kind of the perspective that I always take the spirit. So what do I need to do about it? Number one, sometimes we're not always right. It's not always we don't always have the full view is kind of how what I wrote. We don't always have the full view. And sometimes stepping back and taking a look in can expose what needs to change. And sometimes what needs to change is our perspective. Sometimes what needs to change is how we're reacting or looking at things. Sometimes what needs to change is we need to step back, reprocess, come back into an alignment. All that is shaking, and I literally felt it like a little bit of an earthquake. I felt that earthquake shake up beneath me when I was channeling. All that shakeup is trying to get us more into a flow, trying to get us more into a growth, trying to get us more into a shift in that alignment. It's not shaking things up, in a bad way. It's shaking things up to help us look at things different. There's also some stuff floating around, and it kind of pulled me back into what I channeled a couple weeks ago. Remember when I talked about that lonely space and wanting time alone and wanting time to just kind of process things or needing quiet time and needing that more space? That is kind of a helpful tool that was given to us earlier to help us navigate through a lot of that. And I'm also curious. I'm gonna ask you guys another question. I'm just looking down at my notes because I wrote things that I wanted to ask you about. Have you been feeling like not complete within yourself? Like, have you been feeling like you're just not quite complete? That there's something that's kind of missing to give you that sense of completion? Okay, I'm good. I'm good with how I'm doing. There's been a push into that, and that need to be alone and that need to have that withdrawn space was to give us the tools to help us through the incoming energy that's coming out about the need to feel complete. And the reason that sometimes we're feeling the need to be that we're feeling that incomplete is sometimes we look at it to seek it from other people. We seek that validation. We seek that am I a good person? We seek that. We've and some of us and some of us sometimes we don't always do it, but we seek that validation of am I good enough? Am I doing this right? Is am I pleasing other people? And we lean into there sometimes more than other times. And I think we all have that moment where we do that, right? Like, myself, I'll throw myself in that as well. There are moments that I kind of look around around and saying, am I making people happy? How am I doing with other people? Things sometimes seem out of reach for us. Sometimes things seem like a little too rocky. Our inner compass, so our inner being, whatever word you want to use, our higher self, our soul, whatever word resonates with you, our inner compass is trying to speak to us and trying to say, you know what, it's time to kind of notch up. We are in a very notch up week, leveling up, and our thoughts kind of get in the way of that sometimes. So what Spirit said to me is, and I just keep looking down because I wrote an incredible amount of notes, is check in with your thoughts. Make a conscious effort to say, okay, what am I thinking about? What is bothering me? What am I marinating in? And I've been using that word marinating in for the last several energy updates, and it's like, okay, I get it. I get it. What energy flows where our attention goes. And it's not a new saying. That's not something that's brand new, but that is kind of what's peeking in at us. What are you marinating in that you need to kind of rinse off and kind of change the thought and challenge yourself, challenging your thoughts to open up to a new kind of perspective? Then I heard Wayne Dyer, and I've heard him before in many of my meditations. He does come to me. His words do come to me quite often. It's better to be kind than to be right. And when you think of that sentence and you can shift it into many different ways, that also includes yourself. It's better to be kind to yourself and to give yourself that time than the need to be right. It's better to kind. We always push against that. I don't want to be wrong. I don't want to be the bad guy. I don't want that. And we kind of shift out of being even kind to ourselves. If what you need is a step back, if you need to step back, step back. Or if you need to kind of sit with your thoughts, sit with your thoughts. The wind of change is blowing in with this full moon. It's an Aquarius full moon. Aquarius energy can be it can a lot. Aquarius energy can be a lot. So sometimes we need to step back, sleep on it before reacting, giving ourselves that question: am I not looking at something deep enough? Am I missing the learning? Repeat lessons are also going to be a theme this week, and perhaps you started feeling that last week, or over the weekend. Perhaps you started to see a little bit of that. This keeps coming up for me. Why is this coming up for me? So when you look at that, what do I need to learn? And it's about the expansion piece, and it also trickles into the people that are around you, your closest friends, your family, the people underneath the roof of your house. There's so many floating pieces that affects our energy this way, and we often don't give ourselves time to say, I need to time it out. I need to look at this very differently. I need to kind of change either how I'm reacting, how I'm processing it, or what's going on. And that feeling of completeness within yourself, we need to get to a space this week that we're feeling it for ourselves, and not through external spaces, not through other people, not through items. There's a real big purge coming in, and it felt like that purge, that spring cleanup that we often get pulled into. It felt like that kind of energy. It felt like, okay, I need to purge some stuff, and I also need to step back from some stuff, and I also need to let some things go, and I also need to give myself time. And we always rush through that hard stuff. We are, guilty as humans of that. We don't want to take on the hard stuff. The easy stuff, great, sign me up. The hard stuff, we struggle with that perspective because it's hard. Right. And that growth and that leveling up energy and that expansion, that broaden, that space, it's hard to kind of grow. And what spirit showed me was out, and how spirit showed me that was, there are things that we are outgrowing right now as a collective. So worldwide, individually. And it felt like, when your clothes are too tight and you need to take it on a different size. That's how it felt. It felt like that, but in a good way. It felt like an expansion. It felt like growth. And we need to just kind of take a look back before overreacting to what's being served up that needs to change. And we do react because we go into that personal space. We go into that. I do see the comment section rolling up. I will get to your questions. I like to do the energy update first. So, a long story short, this week, and probably it may have started, like I said, for some of you a little bit earlier than today or over the weekend. Exposing of what needs to be changed. There is some exposure, and when we do that, when exposure comes to us, we need to watch how we're reacting to it, taking the learning mindset. What is this coming up to change, to help me grow? And it's not meant to hold me back. It keeps showing me that a new perspective needs to come forward. And with all of that, and the universe is always helping and supporting us, but the universe also works really hard at teaching us that, because we sometimes, and I'll put my hand up too, I can be a slow learner, and it's okay. It's okay that we need to take our time before we actually see it, and before we actually say, oh, the light bulb went off. But the volume of that is being turned up. There's a rattle and a shake up with the winds of change, and it's going to serve us some, what we're going to perceive is difficult situations that are popping up. Keep in mind, when things change, when we wake up to something, it gives us a new space for growth. It gives us a new space for different perspectives. The other thing that came up, and I really took a big breath in on it because I seen it over the weekend, the blame game. The blame game, I seen the blame game and I thought it was just because of the situations I was in, but it came back up in my meditations. Watch for that blame game. Watch for that, whether it be you or it's coming at you, watch for that blame game. Blaming people or blaming situations, or it doesn't fix it. It doesn't move us forward. It keeps us in that sitting space with that baboon butt it's that sore baboon butt. It keeps us sore, right? So healing doesn't come from blame, and I think when I sat in that, I was like, oh, right, like I was, I literally had that. My shoulders dropped even lower. I kind of had that softening space. The words came back to me. It's better to be kind than right. It's better to heal than to sit in that. That all came in at me at a very high emotional level. I want to talk back again. I want to go back a little bit on this whole sleep space, because I do feel that sleep is going to be an issue. So when that comes into my awareness, when spirit says, when I feel that coming in, I lean into that self-care. I lean into my spiritual self-care. So I make sure that my journaling is right there. I make sure that I'm not missing any opportunities to journal. I make sure that I'm not missing my own opportunities where I can connect to the earth, where I don't head to the forest, or so that I can get to the forest. I watch that energy so that I can self-care myself, so that perhaps I'll sleep a little bit better. The overthinking is going to be very loud this week, and I know it's a hard one. Excuse me. I did a lot of cheering this weekend, so my voice is a little bit crackly, so my apologies. So when we can kind of prepare ourselves and make sure that our spiritual practices are right up to par, it's going to help us be able to navigate through the sleep. And because our mind starts to overthink when we quiet ourselves long enough, and that's usually at bedtime, which is why we have those erratic dreams, or we're just laying there thinking, or even about the silliest things. Give yourself that time this week to just hit the pause button. Make sure your spiritual practices are up to par. Make sure that you're looking after your body, you're drinking lots of water, eating the right foods, whatever resonates with you, whatever makes you feel better, whatever helps keep you grounded. It is, and I'm going to repeat it, it's going to be a rattle and shake up week. The winds of change are coming in. So, and it felt like, it just felt like, okay, it's not a brace yourself energy, it's an expansion, it's a broaden. How can I broaden how I'm thinking? How can I broaden this? Where can I grow? Where can I take some of these lessons? The other thing with the whole exposure piece, if things are being exposed to you, then it's time to take a look at that from a very gentle, kind, loving space, being kind to ourselves. Yeah, I'm not doing great at that. How can I grow from it? I hope that I was able to express that in a very loving way. It's going to be a week of learning. It's going to be a week of changes. If you've already seen this coming, and perhaps you've had moments where you haven't done great with it, just sit with it and go back to it and say, okay, what did I learn? What do I need to change? What's this trying to show me? That is the energy that's coming in. It's not coming in as a punishment. It's not coming in as a blame game. It's not meant to that. We lean into that. So watch what you're leaning into this week, okay? Um, I myself am going to sit after this energy update because I channeled for quite a long time and some of it was for myself too. I am going to sit and take a good hard look at where this all resonates for me. Where can I put in new perspectives? It's got to it's going to keep coming up if we don't. So, and I say that very lovingly and very gentle. Your own inner compass is getting louder this week to take you in new directions and some of that is to shake it up all that is shaking. So when you think about the shake up energy, and I can feel some of you with, oh no, oh no, all that is shaking up is going to improve the flow. So when things get shaken, to think about that. So, kind of look at it as when a snow globe is sitting on a shelf, nothing's moving, right? But when you grab that snow globe and give it a good shake, the snow starts to fall and things get to flow. It's the shaking up is to create that flow, to create a better flow. Sometimes we're standing still in it. Sometimes we're sitting in it too long and our butts are getting sore. It's to shake it up. So as that unravels itself this week, just kind of either come back and watch the replay, or if you've taken notes on what I'm channeling this morning, go back and have a read. Take a look at what needs to flow. We some of us are into that blocked space, or we're sitting into something that we need to flow through it. And it's meant to, lessons come at us because we're supposed to learn. And that's kind of a softer energy as things get rattled up. If you're feeling the winds of change and difficult situations coming at you, remind yourself of that. Just watch the knee jerk reactions. Okay. And be willing to change your perspective on it. But like, just say, okay, is there something that I need to change how I'm looking at? Because this keeps coming up for me. It's a lot. I know it's a lot, and I will look for some questions on what I've channeled this morning. I'm going to scroll back up to the top and see how much of this is resonating with you. I first need a sip of my coffee. Right, and I just want to say, for those of you who who are hard on yourself, I just want to say that I even find it difficult sometimes. I had moments this weekend where I was like, "Why am I doing this? What's coming at me here?" I had to come back into that whole space of where's the perspective? How can I ground myself? What am I sitting in? It's all of us. So if you struggle with these kind of things, please be soft on yourself. Nobody's perfect, and and that's something that you can look at too. Is none of us are perfect. We do mess up. We do struggle with rattle and shake up. We do struggle with stepping back. Sometimes we open our mouth when we should have kept it closed. Look, all of us do, right? It's a very humbling feeling to acknowledge that. Yep, I was part of why that got so rattled. Okay, difficult situations. It brings us into a healing space. All right, look at all you guys joining me this morning. If you're enjoying the energy updates, big thumbs up. I'd appreciate that. A lot of the unsettled. Fran, it's gonna get worse. Fran, maybe you were just ahead of the energy. Maybe you were just ahead of it. But remember what I said, Fran. It's about giving us a different perspective. It's about that shake up. It's about taking that step back. It's about having a different look at it. It's all about that. So if it gets worse, just come back into these words. Okay. Look at y'all, you guys. Aaron, a friend, I know it, right? Yeah. What am I learning right now? Take the learning path if you're struggling with this. Take the learning path. Don't take the blame path. Don't give away your personal power. Come back to what am I learning right now? It will soften that. Sleep issues. Woke up tons of times last night already. Yeah, it's gonna be a week. Audrey had a brutal weekend at work, overthinking big time. Friend, so I know we've talked about this before. She's very open and very much empathic with the energy around her. So yeah, that is some of that's what she's picking up around her from the energy earlier. I felt it coming in this weekend. I was away and wasn't able to go live, and I was away and didn't get much time to journal and channel. But yeah, a lot of people felt that coming in this weekend. Now, I don't want to blame the full moon. The full moon made me do it. I don't want to blame the full moon, but the full moon is turning up the volume. So it's going to get a little bit louder we navigate through this full moon energy, but it's going to bring us into a place of of growth, into a broadening of our mind, in our expansion. That's where it's going to bring us. So when we go with the flow and we don't get into resistance with that, when we kind of lean into, okay, I'm learning, when we trip and fall, we get back up. And that's kind of the space that we're in this week. Okay. Kayla, Len, I want to know, in the law field as a legal assistant or paralegal, does spirit say, what does the spirit say about this? I want to work in the law field as a, okay. I just wanted to read that again to kind of get my energy into the question. Kayla, I feel that number one, I feel like you fit into this like a puzzle piece. Click. I literally heard the puzzle piece click into that. I also feel, Kayla, that and I don't know why I have to say this, but I have to say this. Um, it will be a job, it's not who you are. So I'm not sure if you sometimes blend too much into that, as don't take it on as your identity. Legal energy can bring us into a lot of heaviness. Legal energy can bring us into broken systems, and you will be very good at working in that, but don't take it on as an identity. So, Kayla, I hope I've worded that correctly for you. I just feel like sometimes you can morph into either an occupation or a situation and take too much of it on. So with that, as if you decide to go that route, and the path does feel very good for you, I just feel like I have to remind you that this is something that you do and not something who you are. And it's because of the heavy energy in that. And that goes into, it's a part of us. I understand that. But sometimes some of us can morph into it too much as an identity. It's what you do, right? So that's just kind of what I really needed to kind of lovingly remind you of. Great workflow there for you. You have a lot to offer that profession. Just watch the blending of the energy, because if you take too much on of that legal energy, I feel like it's going to be very tiring. But I feel like you can really balance that with a little bit of spiritual practices and a little bit of understanding how sometimes you morph too much into energy. We can morph too much into it, and suddenly we realize, and this isn't just for Kayla, it's kind of a collective, we can blend too much into energy where we can kind of lose our own identity, right? We can lose our own self in it. And that's can be a bit of a ball and chain that we kind of have to make sure that we're not tying ourselves to. All right, I hope that makes sense there. Shy, experiencing these difficult things differently. I've been physically hearing spirit lately, and that's a first for me. I wonder if my parents' house is amplified energy too. It feels like that for me. I don't necessarily feel the house. I feel like the change. I feel like you were able to surrender a little bit more. And I also feel that you've taken the healing path. When we take the healing path, when we take the surrender path, it opens us up to spirit. There's less of a control there, right? Because we can't control spirit. We just have to allow. And I feel like that move brought you into a surrender, into an allow space, if that makes sense. Hi, Lana. I was here, but wasn't. Hi, Lana. I was here, but wasn't telling me you were on live. That's interesting. Just check your notifications. Sometimes technology and YouTube and all of them can be a little bit weird. Aaron, my question today, I have a checkup tomorrow for fatigue and a long sinus infection. Is there anything that spirit wants me not to miss? So, Aaron, some of this does feel like physical world. Like sometimes, not everything is spiritual. Sometimes it's physical world. I think it's great that you're blending in with the medical community and having a checkup for that. I do feel that, sometimes, and I just have to say, Aaron, you don't have to answer in the chat. I feel part of you is holding on to something. I feel like there is a release that's within you. So just kind of think, have you been processing something? Has something on your journey, has it had an impact on you that hasn't been fully released? I feel like part of that, part of the sinus issue is a hold. I just feel like there's a hold up here. So and if you're not quite sure, I would give yourself an opportunity to just do some healing exercises, and whatever resonates with you. I'll give you a couple examples, but whatever resonates with you, frolicking on the earth in the forest, getting yourself down to a beach, giving yourself whatever you're holding on to, giving yourself the permission, or finding a space where you can just sit and let it go. Right. I just feel like I've got to kind of I got to give yourself a little bit of nurturing energy too. Spirit, add a little bit of nurturing yourself energy in there and just kind of tapping into whatever I'm holding on. And sometimes we don't know. I mean, I've been there. Why am I feeling this way? I don't really know. And I'll give myself a space and the word permission to let it go, to be able to sit with it and to be able to heal it. I like to turn to the earth for healing, but wherever you like to turn, whether if you prefer healers or prefer to do something different, whatever resonates with you. Lana Matriarch, Lana, any message from my spirit guides for me today? I'm adjusting after finding out I have autism and getting past burnout. Much love. Yes, I do have some words for you. And spirit said, take all the time that you need. I feel like I can't I don't want to push like try and push too hard to get past it. I feel like the burnout, when you look at how many years you've been kind of in that energy, it's gonna take it, give yourself some time. And I think that with that, we always feel rushed by time. I've got to get better, I've got to do better, I've got to understand this. Take your time with it. Healing doesn't come in big, large leaps all the time. It can come in small steps. I also feel like with this outcome, with finding out that you have autism, I feel like I've got to say there's a deeper understanding now. There's a deeper understanding of who you are. There's a deeper understanding on how you process the world. Your processor is just different. You just have a different processor. And I feel like I've got to kind of take the embracing. I feel like I have to say, embrace that. That's part of you and part of your experience. And I feel like I have to say, don't be hard on yourself. Don't be hard on yourself through it. You were always doing the best from with where you were standing. I know I say this all the time. I'm going to say it again. You were always doing your best from where you were standing without the knowledge of the autism. So I just need to be very gentle. I need to take my time. I need to slow down. I need to kind of say, okay, now I understand so much. And I just feel like waves of stuff coming at you. And I just feel like I take one wave at a time. Take one wave at a time. And we are all holding you in so much love. Yes, that was last week, I do believe. There you go, Spring. Kayla, yes, I don't feel complete. Last year I felt so complete, and now I feel like I'm restarting from the bottom again. So, Kayla, I want to tap into that. So because when we look at it, it does feel like sometimes we're starting over. Sometimes it feels like I did so much healing work, I did so much spiritual work, and here I am back at the bottom. It's a new space, Kayla. It's a new level up. And I wish I can't remember what those bars are called. I've seen it in those reality shows where they're physical. I don't know, a salmon bar. I can't remember. I don't know what it's called. But when you think about that leveling up, it's just a leveling up space. It's a new space. It's not the bottom. It's a new space of learning. It's a new space of coming out to in a different version of yourself. It's a new space, and it's about growth. And sometimes, and I've been there myself too, it's like, why do I feel like I'm here again? And then I take a good look around and so I'm not here again. It's a new space to grow in. It's like I've been replanted again. Sometimes it feels like we're back down deep, right? And it's a new space that I'm growing in. I'm growing in a new space. And sometimes the lessons repeat themselves because I'm gonna tackle them a little bit differently. Because I don't feel at the bottom again. I feel like I've been replanted. That's how I feel with that, Kayla. I feel like, okay, replanted in a new location. I'm gonna grow again, new roots, new strength, new leaves, that's how I feel there, Kayla. I feel like it's like a new growth. I feel quite the opposite. I don't feel at the bottom again. I feel like a new location for me. That's how it feels. I'm in a new location. Okay. All right. Another sip of coffee coming my way. This is the first time I haven't been feeling incomplete in a while. And I love that for you, Aaron, because there's new answers there for you, right? There's new understandings. Shannon, yes, feeling very incomplete. So, with all this feelings of incomplete, let's take those feelings of incomplete and grow from it. What am I growing into? What am I growing? I'm growing into something. There's something new that's growing. When we feel incomplete, the incomplete, it's like, I think there's something missing. Right. That's what when you try and translate incomplete feelings, it feels like there's something missing. I'm incomplete. Something's missing for me. So when we take that on as an adventure, take that on as okay, there's something for me to learn here. There's new growth for me. I'm in a new space. I'm going to grow something new. I'm going to try something new. And most of the time it's about that spiritual space, that higher self, that inner compass. I'm going in a new direction, right? It's not that there's something missing. There's something coming. It's a bit of an opposite. right? It's a bit of an incomplete. When you translate it, something's missing. If you pull up, I don't have a dictionary in front of me, but if you read it, the dictionary is probably going to define it as something's missing. But if you kind of look at it, and here's the whole different perspective, I'm looking for something new within me. I've grown. Those of you who are saying, yes, I've been feeling incomplete, I just want you to think for a moment. Have you done a whole lot of spiritual work and we're feeling really good? Have you been are you kind of surprised about this incomplete? And if you're answering yes to that, it's about the next step. It's about that personal growth. It's about that change. It's about the new perspective, right? It's a new perspective's coming to you. I'm growing in a new direction. That's the change in the mindset that I talked about earlier on in the segment, is being able to check our thoughts. Where am I going? How am I growing? I'm discovering something that I want. I'm feeling incomplete. There's something missing. What the heck is it? Maybe I can try new things. Maybe I need to be more playful. Maybe I need to just kind of look at things from a different perspective. That rattle and shake up energy is going to be very powerful, even though we may be mucking in it right now and we may be having that baboon butt of sitting in something too long. It's meant to get us moving. And that's the motivation that I'm going to be leaning into, is what is this going to motivate me for or towards, right? There's something that I need to, and it's delicious. When you discover something about yourself, whether it be something new, whether it be spiritual or just, even a new hobby or a new job, it's motivating us. It's that motivation energy. So kind of take a look at that and see if those words resonate against the incomplete word. Okay, Laura, I've been feeling that I want my solitude and that something big is coming and I need to rest in preparation. But what is that something? So, Laura, sometimes we don't know what it is. And, spirit doesn't always tell me all things because sometimes we're not meant to know. I feel that your awareness that something big is coming and I need to rest in preparation. I feel like I have to say, it doesn't feel terrible for me, but needing to rest in preparation for something can be for the good things too. Not, we don't necessarily have to have that panic or that overreaction. It can be for the good momentum too. Spirit does that to me all the time. I'll be like, hello. And it's like, no, you just need to rest. You just need to recharge. We're going to be working with you at a harder, higher level. There's going to be some busyness coming your way. You need to be able to look after yourself and come up with new ways of feeling grounded. Take a look at that. And sometimes we just need a break. And that's the other thing, too. Sometimes we just need a break. I just need to pause, chill myself out, and just heal, even if I don't know what I need to heal from. All right. Teresa, yes, it feels just out of reach, that completeness. It's about growth. It's about growth and heading in that direction. Still craving alone time though. Yeah, and that's okay. There's nothing wrong with needing alone time. If you're still in that solitude space, it's okay. It's okay to lean in there, but look at it from the expansion perspective. Amelia, yes, I've done a lot of work, but craving freedom, discipline, and travel to keep growing. Well done, you. Well done, you. It's about the growth. It's about new chapters. It's about the new perspectives. And sometimes we have this whole, and Amelia, it's not just directed to you, it's directed to all of us. Sometimes we lean into that whole, I want it now, and we get impatient with the craving, right? It's like you ever crave something, to eat and it's not in the house, and it's like, do I or don't I take a run to the grocery store? I'm raving. My mouth is salivating for the ice cream now. It's that whole feeling, isn't it, Amelia? It's about, I want it now. I want it now. And I love that you are using the word discipline, because I do know that keeping that in balance, that I know it's coming, and I'm taking the steps to get there. And I love that you use that, right? I love that you're taking those steps, and you're moving through it, and you're trusting the journey, and you're craving it, but you are taking those steps to get there. And I always say, and I, even when I want to push against it, I've learned not to, but I'll always say to spirit, I want that so bad right now. And spirit will say, just trust the process. Keep working on yourself. Keep working on what you want. Keep doing it. We're going to guide you there. Trust your inner compass, Amelia. Trust that inner compass. Rachel, good morning, Lana. Wondering if my guides and angels have any messages for me. They've been very active lately. Anything in specific? Rachel, I feel that the support with the active in the spirit feeling is support. I can feel that, when I feel it feels like, what do you call that, framework. It feels like a house that's just been framed. When I feel like you've got a good support. I also feel, Rachel, that foundations have been built very solid. Whatever you've been doing has got into the solid foundation space. And I feel like Spirit is saying, lean into what's solid. We've got you. We've got you while you kind of navigate the new. I do feel a lot of doors opening up. There's a lot of new situations, new people, new opportunities, and they're saying we're supporting you through it. So, Rachel, one thing that I feel like I have to say, every now and again, do you kind of pull back if it's, into with a lot of uncertainty? They're holding you up through that. So, if you're going through anything that's a little bit uncertain, or if uncertain things start to pop up, they're holding you into that as you navigate through that. The active activity is also you opening up more and more and more. I feel like I've got to acknowledge that. I've got to say you've been doing a lot of work on being more open, being more open-minded, open to new perspectives, open to spirit, open to the learning. I feel like all of that work has brought them in closer. They're always around us, but when we open, it's like we can feel them so close. We can hear them. We can work with them. I feel like, and I've got to applaud you for that. So there you go. Shannon, do you see me creating a profitable online business? I'm manifesting growth anew. Ooh, I just got like this wave of excitement went right through me with that with Shannon. I feel like with the manifesting growth and new, I also feel like you've been a vibrational match for it. So I feel like, we can sit and manifest, I want it, I want it, I want it, please bring it. But there's also taking action. And I feel like you've been taking action. And I feel like such a beautiful blend with that. I feel like you've been taking action on getting that moving. Yes, it's great to ask, but we also need to take action. And I feel like you're taking more and more action. And I just literally got like this strength in my back. Almost like it's like a spiritual rod. It's like how it felt. It just felt like I got a rod, kind of like I got like this strength in my back that's helping you navigate through all of this. But I feel like you're also doing the work. There it is. What they're saying to me is you're doing the work as well, and that vibrational match is going to bring you into glorious spaces. I also feel, Shannon, that you've really been taking on this enough right now energy. This is working right now, and I feel like your power now is really helping you with that online. It's enough right now. I'm navigating through it. Your balance to me, Shannon, feels really, really good. I feel like you've got a great balance of gratitude, a great balance of manifesting, a great balance of being an active role in it. We have to be an active role in our manifestations, and I feel like you're doing that beautifully. So well done, you. Um, Spring. Thank you for the laugh, Lan. I've always used the word dwelling and never heard marinating. But that's how it's felt lately. I didn't use that word for a long time, and this whole marinating, spirit says it to me all the time lately. What are you marinating in? Like, what are you sitting in? Right? I that's been coming up a lot for me lately, even with my own stuff. Spirit's been whispering that you marinating on something, and sometimes, and I want to say this very lovingly, and I know I've said it before. Sometimes spirit can be hard on us, right? It can be like, "What do you mean you know better? What are you marinating in that for?" And it's like, "Oh yeah, I am," and I take it with such gratitude with my learning. I just take it, right? I just take that learning. Oh, I love the moon necklace. I do too. I love the moon. The moon is huge for me, and I also love amethyst. So it is an amethyst moon, and I've had it for so long, but it's just one of my favorite pieces. Um, Teresa, Lana, does spirit have any words on my moving in a new direction? I literally got like when you're a really big crowd at like a play or something and everybody starts clapping. I can hear like a loud group. I feel like that cheering squad for you has is just you are moving in the right direction. One foot in front of the other. Small steps count, Teresa. I need to get that out to you. Small steps count. I also feel, Teresa, that I have the feeling, but I'm just trying to find the words to match the feeling. I don't know if you've been kind of like, I should have done this a long time ago. Why did I wait so long? Kind of energy, or I feel like that. that space has, like, left you. I feel like you're kind of in that space now of, "Okay, it better now better late than never, better now than never." That's kinda how I feel there, and I feel like I've got to like, I've this proud vibration of even the thinking of new directions is huge. Even when we have those thoughts of, "I think I need to change that." That's huge. That's some like, the change in mindset is huge, and then being able to put one foot in front of the other. Well done, you, Teresa. Okay, Erin. I asked my grandmother's spirit to help me purge because I can't tell ADHD and she's helping me big time. I love that for you, Erin. I'm hearing Esther now saying we got to change our pants. Yes, we do have to change. You can't marinate it in too long. Brad, hey, Brad, it's been a bit. Hey, darling, it's good to see you. Would love to get a message from my dad. I hope he knows we visited him this morning. So many decisions coming up, especially remaining in the apartment my mom and I live in. Worried to move. So Brad, I'm gonna break down your statement here. Spirit always knows. Spirit knows how much we love them. Spirit knows how we feel. Spirit knows when we visit. Spirit also knows that, and I know you know this, but spirit, and it's spirit. He's everywhere. You can visit him sitting on your couch. You can visit him, when you go down to, where they're buried. They always know. They always know. Right? They're always around us, and they always support us in that. I also feel Dad's showing me, Brad, that there's also been a lot of spiritual growth, that you continue that path. And he's very proud of that. He's also very proud of Mom, in how well she has been navigating through these huge changes. So many decisions upcoming, especially remaining in the apartment my mom and I live in, worried to move. So, Brad, I just had to pause. I had to listen there for a moment. I don't feel like you have to move. So but I feel like there's opportunity to move. And I also feel that even though we may not be totally ready, because sometimes we're never ready. Sometimes it's that push that we need to move. The move, the decision to move doesn't strike me with a worry or wrong decision. The decision to move can also bring in a lot of new. And I need to say this: Dad will move with you. Dad will move with you. There's no I don't like there's no if we move, he's not coming. If he moves, we'll be upset. There's none of that there for me. I feel like the move is also going to bring a lot of good things, but I don't feel like you have to move, Brad. If you can chime in and let me know if I'm understanding that correctly. Wes, I've been in my current location for almost a month now. Do you feel a change is coming soon? Um, I feel like change is a little bit kind of like a slow moving process. Wes, I really need to lift off the time limit. It's been a month, and Spirit goes, yeah, so what? That's really how Spirit. And I get it, the physical world stuff, Wes. You want to move, you want different, you want settled. But I feel, Spirit is like, yeah, so what? It's been a month. It's been a good month. It's been a lot of change, and I feel like you've navigated that change very, very well. I feel like I've got to kind of one day at a time at West, just kind of one day at a time, one day at a time. I'm right here, right now. That is going to kind of help with the settle. I don't feel like you're there a long, long time, West, but I do. I feel like I've got to say one step at a time, and kind of leaning in even more. And I know I've talked to you about this before, leaning more into your spiritual practices, leaning more into your trust, leaning more on being willing to change your own path, right? Leaning more and leaning more and leaning more into that. Tropical Empress and Spirit, good morning, beautiful souls. And Atlanta, my beautiful souls in the chat. Oh, hello, darling. It's good to see you. Spotted TY. Hi, my cat disappeared 6 days ago. And we believe he might have gotten eaten by foxes in the area. Does Spirit know what happened? Maybe he's still out there, or maybe he has a message for us. Okay. So Spotty, TY, I know that you've been on my channel for a little bit, so I know that you know this. Um, I'm just gonna give you how this feels to me. I do not feel that cat gone. So when I connect, and if some of my mentoring students are on here, I always teach the where am I? Here, not here. I don't feel the cat has left the physical world. I don't feel that yet. So is there a risk that that can happen? Yes. 100%. There is a risk of that. The longer that the cat's missing, I don't feel that though. I can't lean into that. And I've tried different angles. I've tried connecting to the cat on the other side, and I don't feel the cat there. I try to connect to the cat here, and I feel the cat here. So I just have to go by how this feels. And I know that you have an understanding on how I work because you've been on my channel for a long time. So I don't feel that. So I feel the cat here. So now when I break that down, I feel like I've gone. So wherever you live, I feel like I've got to go behind you, like, so behind, either your home, and I feel like I've got to go a little bit of a distance. Like I feel like I'm a little bit, like, a couple blocks. Like I feel like I'm back, and I feel like I'm okay, but like, I physically I feel okay, but I feel like I've gone back. I'm back, and I feel like I don't feel like I'm coming out. So either hiding, because I do feel like it feels like sides or walls that are, like, kinda close, but I can get out. I don't feel trapped, I feel I can get out. So I feel like I've gotta say, look, I'm just trying to do a spiritual Google map. I feel like I've gotta go back, and I do feel like there's either a park with a forest in it, or some greenery. I feel like I've got a lot of greenery, a lot of low-lying bushes. That's how I kinda see it, and I'm back behind. So I don't know if you've been looking forward or sideways, but I feel like the area is back. So take a look at your neighborhood there, Spotty, and just kind of, if you're still here, leave me a comment if that makes sense to you. I can't connect the cat to gone, and I have to trust that. So I can't even question it. Tropical Empress and Spirit. Does my mom have any messages for me? Thank you. I literally felt like the wings of a butterfly coming in around me. I just felt that butterfly kind of fly in and kind of hold me. You are always held in that gentle, loving space. I also feel like there's been a lot of you've been talking to her a lot more, or you're feeling her a lot more with hearing you. It kind of feels like a little bit of both ways there for me. I also need you to know that she's very proud. I feel like there's been some great steps forward, even when you've struggled, and she lovingly pushes you. She's also showing me, Tropical Empress, that you have your own wings, and I feel like they're getting stronger because she's showing me your own wings. So when Spirit shows me that, it's like you've been kind of like finding your own way, finding your own strength, finding your own, and I feel like there's some flight momentum there. So some forwardness. I hope that resonates there with you. Now I'm hearing the song Winds of Change playing. Um, Dee Dee. The blame game. I keep trying to find someone to blame as to why I got COVID. Does it really matter at this point? I'm sick and I need to heal. There you go. There are often and sometimes, and Spirit says this to me, there's no blame here. And sometimes it's not even necessarily spirit, because spirit gets the blame. Sometimes we blame spirit. Think about that. Like, why are you doing this to me? Like, we blame the universe. Why is this happening to me? Sometimes it just is. It's just is. There are things in the physical world that spirit's not willing to take the blame for. And I've chuckled many times at myself with, over the years with why? Like, what have I done? Like, that blame game. Sometimes it just is. And sometimes we don't know the higher reason or the perspective behind it. It just is. And some things are very much spiritual world. Spirit has said that to me over and over again. That is physical world crap. You're navigating through it. You're learning through it. Right? Stop. The spirit has said to me, stop looking for the blame. Like, stop trying to connect it to a reason. Go through it. Heal it. Work on it. Okay. Um, I'm really loving this chat today, by the way, you guys. Camilla, I'm wondering if you see me and my fiance having to move far for him to get a job. No, I don't think it's that far. I'm hoping it's not more than an hour, 30 minutes ish, but I don't know. I don't feel it far. I don't feel like you're, an hour commute is a little bit far. I don't know if I would want to, but I don't feel it far. I feel like I've got to say, just try this, Camilla. Just trust and keep looking. I feel like it's coming. And I get it. It's like, well, I need it now. I get it, but I feel like I have to say. I have to keep pushing them. I don't feel it that far. Now, I do feel though, Camilla, that if you were to say, we really want to move out of this area, and we want to look, will that work out? I feel like if you wanted to move, it would also work out. I don't feel it as I have to. I don't feel that. I get pushed back. No, you don't have to go far. I hope that makes sense there for you. Spirit, Tropical Empress. I can take accountability for myself as I made a YouTube video yesterday saying I don't have a fragile ego and can handle admitting when I'm wrong. I will admit it and apologize for my role in general. Absolutely. And that is huge, and that can be hard, right? Many of us struggle with that. We struggle with with changing our ego, with softening our ego, with being able to say I was wrong. There's so much growth when we can acknowledge that I didn't handle something great. There's so much knowledge in that, right? And it also comes with working through, yes, working on the ego, but it also comes with working on how other people will react. Some of us can be afraid of the ramifications of taking ownership. And it's not about other people. If you have to take ownership for something, I was wrong, I didn't process that, I take ownership of it. However people react to that is theirs, not yours. If somebody comes at you with, yeah, well, we told you you were wrong, then don't pick it up. Stay with, I'm acknowledging where my own growth has to come, right? And some of us are afraid to have that whole held over our head, right? The whole blame game. Yeah, it was you. Yeah, who cares? Own your crap and move forward from it. I love that. uh Teresa, lots of discussion about past and looking at those family members involved from new perspectives. There's the new perspectives, open to new healing and perspectives. I love that so much. Peyton, I'm wondering if Spirit has anything I need to hear this week. Thank you so much. Spirit, or Peyton, Spirit is acknowledging right now, to acknowledge you're doing the best that you can. So I'm doing the best that I can. Yes, there's always, something I can do different or try, but I feel like I've got to say I'm doing the best that I can. I also feel, Peyton, that you've been leaning even more into spirits. I feel like you've been leaning more and more into your higher self. I feel like you've been leaning into their hardcore, and I need to say good job, and you're doing the best that you can. The road's bumpy, right? And you've buckled up, and you're navigating through it, and you're doing it very well. Uh Easy puff. I don't overthink enough. That the overthinking is something, that's always a work in progress too. Luminous luxuries. At least I know what the past 2 days have been about now. I do have a lot of change coming up, and I do have lots of anxiety about it. I will try to remind myself of your words. I love your openness and willingness to learn, and I love the names you guys have on your for your handle here. Yeah, the last 2 days, I do feel that it for most of us it probably started last week or over the weekend, and it is coming at the rest of us. If you haven't felt it yet, most of us will be feeling that wind of change, and I'm so happy that these words, you're willing to pick them up and to support you. Um, More meow. Sending light and love your way. Would very much like to know if Spirit has any messages for me. It's for me, if okay. You are such a sweetheart. Um, and I'm sending love and light towards you too. And I want to say I'm not recognizing your name here. So if you're new, welcome. And for anybody that is new here, welcome. And if you're returning, welcome back. Um, I feel like well, here's what they want you to know. Um, I feel like a welcoming party. I feel like there's a welcoming party. I all of a sudden, I just, but I also feel like you're welcoming new things. So I feel like you're doing really well with welcoming new things into you. And I feel like you've been test tasting. I feel like I'm on a buffet of life, and I've been test tasting. And I feel like I have to say, sometimes when we test taste things, we do test taste the anxiety as well. Spirit wants me to remind you that when you experience anxiety, that you're experiencing it and it's not you. So I need to say to you, you are not anxiety. You're having moments where you're experiencing it. So I feel like I've got to say, if you can visualize the anxiety outside of you, it will help you work on it. Because I feel like you're holding it in, and I just have to say, grab something, just visualize this is the anxiety. It's outside of me. It's not who I am. I'm experiencing it. I feel like that is going to help you tremendously. I also feel like I've got to, Spirit just handed you a journal. And I also feel like I need to, not just a journal, all things, but something very specific that they're showing me is that they're showing me that you need to journal what's right about you. So I don't know if you've been kind of struggling with what's wrong about you. I don't do this well. I don't do that well. I don't do this well. Make another page of what you have been doing so well at. And I need you to read it a couple times a day. I just need you to kind of review it like, yeah, heck yeah. Heck yeah. Right. I need you to feel that because we do focus. It's easier to focus on the things that we're not doing well. Right. I need you to, and this can resonate. If this resonates for anybody else, please try it. I need you to kind of like make the column so that you can balance. Right. We don't balance the good that we're doing as well. Does that make sense to you there? I hope that makes sense to you. Laura, oh, darn it. I was doing so well not to get ahead of the thing of the scrolling. I was doing so well. Here we go. Sorry, guys. Just give me a second. Okay, found my way back. Laura, I'm hearing shake it up and shake loose what no longer serves. I love that. Diane, I'm definitely going to watch the replay afterwards. Sounds like I need to hear this. And that's what's great about doing these lives. You can go back into the replays and have another listen. I so Mandy, I know about lack of sleep, and overthinking upcoming lawyer call. I know it's the right thing, but still feeling sad. It had to come to this. I'm seeing the light of what I knew. I'm seeing the light of what I knew didn't listen. So Mandy, I think that again, with I did the best with what I could with what I was going through. Perhaps you didn't know that, or you do know it's the right thing to do, and you're struggling with that. And I feel like you are doing so well at acknowledging this. I'm still feeling sad that I had to do it. It is sad that you had to do it, right? It's sometimes things we have to do things that it's sad that I have to go this way. I also feel, Mandy, because I just got put in like a classroom as a teacher. Sometimes we are the teacher and we're teaching people things too. And it can be really hard to take on that role. And I feel like I've got to say, you are doing great at teaching. Sometimes people don't learn, sometimes they do, but I feel like you needed to do this. I feel like it needed to be done. I feel like it was part of the learning, not just for you, but sometimes we're teaching other people around us as well. Whether or not they get the lessons, that's not on you. Right? That comes up a lot with spirit. People can pick up what they want to and they can put down what they want to. That's the whole choice and free will in that part of our journey. They had the choice. They had choices of doing things differently. I feel like you presented choices to have things differently. And I just I feel that. I felt like you tried different angles. I feel like you tried different ways. I feel like you went at this from many, many different ways. And this was the path that is like, yeah, I've got to take the path. Know that you're supported on that path. And I also see that, I don't feel necessarily that you didn't listen. I felt I needed to just kind of tweak that a little bit. You gave other people opportunity to do things different and they didn't take it. That's kind of what I need to say there, Mandy, and yes, you may think, well, I waited too long. We often give people as much time as we can to help them. Right. And that's the angle that you took. That's the road that you took. You took the high road and it may have been the long way, but you did take the high road through it all. And because spirit keeps doing this with, chin up. You gave it, you did the best that you could to avoid, having things more difficult. So just kind of shift a little bit into that a little bit, right? People had the opportunity to change it. um Thank you you're very welcome, you guys. So much gratitude here. um Debbie Jones, my head has been aching for 2 weeks. Debbie, with that, and always, I always say this, and I know you know this. I'm not a doctor, I'm not a lawyer. So if you feel like you need to see your doctor about that, please do. I don't feel worried, but I just need to say that, if you feel this is medical, please see your doctor. I also feel, Debbie, I just feel like I've also got to take care of you. I feel like for a long time, or quite often, a lot of people go first, and I feel like I've got to take care of you. Take care of yourself too. I feel like I've got to say that to you. So if that connects there with you, Debbie, turn up the volume of going first a little bit. Leonard, do you see more chaos? Or where are my kitties? Oh, where are my kitties? The last of it. Um, spring. Life is always going to bring us chaos. 100%. I mean, but I feel like I have to say to you, when you look at how well you can handle it now, I feel like I've got to acknowledge that whatever life brings me, I'm stronger in how I handle it. Life is going to bring me chaos. Right? Do I feel like the hard chaos has settled? Yes, I do. I do feel like a lot of that hard part of the last couple of years, you're on the other side of that. Do I feel there's more growth and more learning? Of course. And I know you know that, but I feel like you're coming into more of a space of healing, of more of a softer. I also feel like what you allow has shifted as well from for the other floating parts. But I feel like that hard part from that where you've been the last couple years, I feel like you've pushed through that. And I feel like you have done such a good job at looking at what that taught you because I know it was extremely hard. Right. So I feel like that part is you're on the other side of it, of the really hard part. But life is always going to bring us stuff. And I feel like you've got such a deep connection now on how to navigate through the chaos. I have to watch the time, you guys. We're pushing it out. We're over or almost on an hour. Um, Diana Lopez, definitely going through a lot of transitions, and unknown can be scary. Is there a message from my guides? Um, Diane, I feel like I've got to say to you, I know I've said it to a few other people today, you're doing very well with the transitions. You're doing very well with the scary. I feel like you've done that whole okay, forward I go. I feel like you've been doing very well with that. And I feel like I've got to, acknowledge that in a very different way of like acknowledging yourself with a special moment, whether that be, if a special moment for you is giving yourself an hour to yourself or taking yourself out for an ice cream. I feel like I've got to acknowledge that you're very much supported, and I also feel like you know that. Like I feel like you know that the support is there, and that you do quite well with leaning into that. Kayla, I blend very easily. Oh, here we go, Kayla. Any job I take on, I make it my identity. Ha. Thanks for the validation on that, Kayla. I'm really trying to learn how not to do that. Thank you, Lana. I'm really trying to find a career that is best for me. Um, Kayla, so what really helps with that? So I feel like, um, and it comes down to visualizing things separate from you. It's what I do. I do love what I do. But I'm not blending with it. I don't have to take on that. It's not my identity. It's what I do. Right. So, and even with myself, and I've been very careful of not to lose myself in my own learning and my own growth too. I be careful not to blend too much. That also helps me with my work that I do. So if I don't blend too much with it, I'm able to tap into what's other people, what other people need because I'm not in it. I'm not blending with it, right? It's not my perspective. It's not mine, right? I've learned to kind of keep that balance. I love what I do, but I don't blend with it, right? So, and that's why I know sometimes I struggle with certain words because certain words give us a label that we put on that we take on. We take on labels. And when we take on labels, we lose ourselves in the label. So, if just kind of work on that, Kayla. Take something that's really easy and make a label, stick it to yourself. You can even use something silly like a plate of spaghetti, right? Spaghetti. I know it's so random, but write spaghetti and stick it to yourself and start ripping it off. I'm not spaghetti. I'm not spaghetti. Or change the word if there's something that you want to not take on as the label of it. So because we fall into the trap of labels and then we become that label and it's not who we are, right? It's what we do. Right. I may make spaghetti, I may eat spaghetti, but I'm not spaghetti. I know it sounds funny, and I'm trying to bring a little bit of humor into it. And so is humor. So is spirit, because they showed me a plate of spaghetti. So I think it just kind of lightens things up. It's what we do. It's not necessarily who we are. That will help you, Kayla. And I also feel, Kayla, when it comes to career, is what I'm doing right now. Right. So, I've had many different careers, right? There was a time, and I don't know how many of you know this, but there was a time I owned a trucking company. There was a time I owned a coffee shop. Then I went into nursing. And now I do this. It's what I do, and it's what I do right now. If Spirit said to me tomorrow, Lana, it's been a good haul. Go try something else. It's been a good run. You know, go and try something else. I would be very open to that. I would be very open to that. You know, um, because what I do, how I work and what I've learned and how I've healed, it's been very transformative for me. So just kind of keep that in the back of your mind. That's what I'm doing right now, right? And it comes back into the power now, and I know I talk a lot about that. So it really helps when we kind of look at that from that perspective. Right now, I'm doing this. There's no guarantees that and when I look back at older versions of myself, never did I think I would go from a trucking company to nursing. Never did I think I would go from nursing into full-time this, but it was the power of now. It's the power right now. I'm here. Right now, this is bringing me joy. If it changes, if I go back to school, okay, that'll be the next power of now. Guys, we're right at the hour mark here. We're over the hour, and I do have to get going. I know there's still so many questions here that I didn't get to. I appreciate all of you so much showing up and supporting me. So I'm just looking for Spotty. I just want to see if about that cat. Okay, here we go. Spotty. Yes, behind my house has a field with bushes and greenery. It's like a riverside. Okay, Spotty. So if I can just, Spotty, if you're still here, I hope you are. If I can just get you to answer a couple questions, and I will come back to it after I do the angel book and the animal spirit guide animal book. So, Spotty, have you been back there? Will be my first question. Have you looked back there? I feel safe. So, number one, I still feel that cat here and safe. Am I worried with predators? Yes, and so are you. It's a possibility. So back there, Spotty, behind my, I want to read it again, has a field with bushes and greenery. It's like a riverside. So here's what so Spotty, I just want to back up a little bit because Spirit is showing me a cat that I found. Oh, I can't remember when, but it was several months ago. It might have been the spring, or even the. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was spring, or I'm not even sure. Maybe even last summer. On my Facebook page, and I'll try to pull it up. Maybe put it to the top of you if I get time today. But on my Facebook page, there was a cat locally here, or no, it was a dog. Sorry, it was a dog that. Yeah, it was a dog. It was a dog that went missing. And the owners were adamant that the coyotes got the dog. And I kept seeing this gravel pit, and I kept seeing across the gravel pit, some greenery. And the dog went and hid across the gravel pit and went and knew to protect itself till it was found. So they trusted it deep enough to go and have a look, and sure enough, the dog was there. So anyway, the reason I'm bringing that up is Spirit is showing me that. So Spirit is showing me that situation. So not that there's a gravel pit there, but it's the hiding thing. So I want to come back, Spotty, TY, to with this field and bushes. If you can go out there, I don't know if I'm closing my eyes because I'm trying to see it deeper with remote viewing. I don't know if I'm in and I don't feel trapped. So I don't feel like I'm stuck in it. So I can get my head out of it. But is there, I want you to look when you go back there, is there like either an old broken down building or some ruins that have collapsed or an old wooden box? Or because I feel like I've hidden. It doesn't feel stone to me, because it feels more of a wood. So I wouldn't overlook a stone. If you see something that's stone that can hide, I wouldn't overlook it. There might be like a wood structure within that. I feel like I'm kind of tucked in there and hidden. And I feel like I know to protect myself, like the cat instincts, right? I feel like I'm protected. The fact that you gave me, I mean, I don't even know where in the universe Spotty TY lives. So I don't know what country or what province or I don't even know where you are. Um, so the fact that you were able to validate for me that behind my house, because I did say behind, was a field with bushes and greenery. It's like a riverside. That for me is validation that I tapped into that cat. That is pure validation. I mean, there could have been apartments or condos or houses upon houses, and I felt that greenery, like that park space. Okay, so I need you to go out there. I also, and I don't know if you've done this already. I feel like I'm afraid to come out and find my way home. So if you haven't yet put out the litter box or the cat's possessions out on your front step, I would do that because they can smell and find their way home as well. But I feel like I need to go back there, and I feel like go with shaking some treats because I feel like I know the risk of coming out. I feel like the animal knows the predators are around, but I feel the cat here, and the fact that I can feel what's around you and behind your home is solid validation for me that I'm on the right track, that I'm remote viewing in the right area. And keep us posted, please. Keep us posted and let us know, even if you put it on the community page on when you find that cat. And I love that so much. Atlanta, yes, I believe I feel her around me more and talk to her all the time. I feel like she's one of my spirit guides. I love that so much. And they are. Our loved ones over in the spirit dimensions guide us and help us all the time. Now I feel like eating a bowl of spaghetti. Humor is good for the soul, especially through the sticky messes. PJ, we're missing 10 thumbs up. Don't forget. Thank you very much for your support. Um, Interesting about the journaling that's right about you. I literally just screenshot a picture saying the same thing. I'll definitely try it. Thanks, Lana, for all that you do. Okay. I just want to close off by saying it is going to be a rattle shake up week. Take the path of learning, take the path of growth, take the path of new perspectives, take the path of I need to change how I'm looking at this, because I'm going to say this very lovingly, repeat lessons are going to follow this energy 100%. Right. I feel very solid in that. Spirit is making it very clear in that. Even including myself, you know, make sure that if you're feeling this rattled, you're looking at it. There's something there that's trying to reach you to learn and grow. And sometimes we have to go with the new perspectives. If not, your cycle's going to go around until we get it. And it's okay. Some of us learn learn in different ways, but it's going to be a big activation energy. There is a high, bold activation energy coming on through. Okay. So it is bringing uncertainty. It is bringing unsettled. It is bringing a rattle up. It is bringing the winds of change. It's going to bring out difficult situations because remember, there are other people experiencing this and it's not just about me, right? So we have to bring that into perspective. If people are coming at you feeling rattled and uncertain and shaken up and need and overthinking and on the behavior may not be what you normally see out of them, they're learning too. It's gonna be huge. I'm telling you right now. It's gonna and I smile because I'm taking the learning path with it. It's going to be huge. So other people are experiencing it too. Don't absorb it. Give them some tips to navigate through it. Are they coming at you to teach you something? Right? Keep that perspective. It's time to look for new perspectives. Hmm. I know. I know. Okay. The other thing is um, I will not be here the rest of the week. If things change for me, I will pop in. But it we are coming into the final days of summer. I have some lovely family time coming up that I really want to be fully present for. And I'm also going to be doing some work with spirit this week, some channeling on what they want me to do on where I'm taking the channel, on things that they want me to get posted for fall and winter, that I'm taking that time this week. So I'll be back so far on Monday of next week. If that changes, I'll let you know. But I need to lean into that. I've had a very wonderful but busy summer. And Spirit has made it very clear that I need to be very present and take some time to enjoy that, but also take some time to get caught up on what they want me to get caught up on and the changes that the fall is going to bring for me, and the Hawk and I. So I'll get that out there before I forget. Some of you, before I move on, some of you have messaged me and commented on some of my socials about my experience at the hospice. So last week, I did a group session at Waterloo Hospice House with the staff. It was my first time having that experience with sitting and doing some channeling for the staff about what they're experiencing there with helping people transition, being part of that journey, as well as some incredible spirit activity that's been happening in a fairly new location. I think it was only 3 or 4 years old, with a fairly new build. It was absolutely profound. So I thought I would mention that really quick because some of you have been asking me to share my experience with that. Also, how I channeled was very different, and that's been happening a lot more lately. That trip to Ireland has changed how I channeled in an incredible way, and it was absolutely beautiful to connect with people who view death in a very different way. And these earth angels, they are all the staff and volunteers there are like earth angels. And it was absolutely um, heart touching. And it was an experience that um, really, really, really touched my soul. I loved it so much. It was so profound. So there's a little blurb on how I felt with the channeling there in that space. And it was also an extremely spiritual space. How they built that building, they took all the spiritual aspects on even on they have like a silo that was built in that connects to the solstice. And it was, they have a smudging room, and it was such a beautiful spiritual experience. And how we're looking at transitioning has changed. Like we are coming into beautiful new ways of looking at death. It filled my cup. It filled my cup. Angel numbers. What do we need to know? All right, I'll turn my head so that visually I'm not influencing it. I'm just going to energy. Let me know where I'm stopping. 46. Here we go. The angels are saying, keep your thoughts focused on your spiritual self and your divine source for everything. Give any material worries to us. Let go and go with the flow. Let's do one more. Feel like I need to do another one. 320. Spirit and the ascended masters are surrounding you with supportive and healing energy, helping you to have confidence that everything is in divine perfect order. So in the shakeup energy that we are going to be going through, in the big bold energy, highly activation of being helped by the Aquarius full moon, please know that you're supportive. Everything's going to work out. One more. I can't put it down yet. I can't put it down yet. I don't know why, but we're going to do one more. 7:30. You have a clear connection with source and the ascended masters, and you are accurately listening and following the divine guidance. Love it. I can put it down now. Sip of coffee. All right. I'm having a lot of fun here this morning. I really am having a lot of fun. I'm having so much fun here. I always do, but I just feel so light all of a sudden. Got coffee on my face. All right, let's set our intentions. Maybe I'll do more than one today too. The moth. My spirit's ringing my ear. A letter, email, or package will be coming shortly, bringing important news. Okay. Trust your sense of smell and avoid anything that smells bad. So that's a very spiritual thing too. If things smell bad, it's bad, right? Trust your intuition on that. Whatever has been hidden or veiled is about to be revoked. Here comes it. Here it comes. If you're single, if you're single, focus your intention on attracting a romantic partner. And once you do, trust your senses as to whether or not this person is a good match. If you are in a romantic or intimate relationship, enhance the attraction by using essential oils or aromatherapy rather than perfumes or colognes. Interesting one. I'm just curious while I kind of tap back into this if some of you set the intentions to know about relationships. I'm just curious how many did that. Hippopotamus. Hippopotamus for Christmas. Trust your intuition and act on it, yet stay grounded at the same time. Your skin is especially sensitive right now, so moisturize with lotion is needed to use sunscreen when exposed to the sun in any length of time. It's critical that you don't deviate from your path at this time, so stay tuned to yourself. Stay tuned to yourself. Okay, I lost my spot. Stay tuned to yourself and don't let anything distract you. Now is the time to immerse yourself in whatever artistic or creative endeavor you want to accomplish and stay with it to completion. Be protective toward anything, any be protective toward any of your artistic creations and don't let anyone demean or criticize your work. All right, so let's break that down. Be true to yourself, right? Be true to yourself. Broaden your perspectives. Expansion. Don't hold yourself back. I do love the immerse yourself. And if you're not artistic or create or into that, be creative, right? Try new endeavors. But with this shake up energy, try new things. All right, you guys, let's see where we're going. The moth is probably about me and my boyfriend. Describes exactly what we plan on doing together. Sounds amazing. I have chills. Thanks for sharing. As always, I found that so interesting because I was looking into death doula course. And I've both with my nursing and with my mediumship, I have had many clients have reached out to me and asked me to be present when they're transitioning, and it's a heart filling uh path. Look into it little bit more, Diane, and see what resonates there with you. All right, you guys, have a great week. And I had a lot of fun this morning. I had a lot of fun talking about, the big bold energies and ways to kind of navigate through it and taking a step back. I myself will be doing that, and I'm going to honor that. If I need to step back and have a think and take new perspectives and taking a different look, I'm going to be doing that. So lean in there as well. As always, I'm wishing you love, light, blessings, and have a spirit guided day. Take care of yourselves.